Hello and welcome to episode 5 of the Creative Writing Modern Age podcast, the space where creativity finds its pulse, stories that words shape the world. I'm your host Samriddhi Sanger and I'm truly excited that you're tuning in. Whether you are a writer, an educator, a writer, a student, or someone who simply loves the simple expression of meaningful art, this podcast is for you. So before we dive into today's powerful conversation, let me tell you a little about CWMA, Creative Writing Modern Age. At CWMA, we believe that writing is more than an art. It's a movement, it's a way to engage, educate, and evolve together. Our mission is twofold: to provide a platform for creative writers and creators to share their stories, rhetoric, and their craft while promoting excellence and cultural dialogue. And the second is to build a bridge between academia and the literary world, empowering the students and the educators to create arts that enhance in creative writing and critical thinking. Our vision is to create a global network of educators, students, and creators who are committed to creative expression, learning, and meaningful partnership. So, those who are joining us, let me introduce myself. I am Samriddhi Sanger, your host and fellow creative. I'm someone who believes that in the power of stories, not just to entertain, but to educate, inspire, and connect. And now, the most awaited moment when we are speaking of impact. Today's guest is someone who defined the global excellence in education, innovation, and peace building. Joining us today is the incredible Rania Lampo, ma'am, a multi award winning STEM educator, cognitive neuroscience researcher, international speaker, and global peace ambassador from Greece. She currently serves at the Greek Ministry of Education, where she writes pioneering STEM based educational projects. She also is a STEM instructor at the Greek Astronomy and Space Company and has been recognized with over 200 national and international honors, including the prestigious Global Teacher Award for the 3 consecutive years and a finalist position for the Global Teacher Award 2019. Beyond her academic excellence, Ma'am is a tireless advocate for integrating STEM with language learning, advancing UN Sustainable Development Goals, and mentoring youth across the world. Rania, ma'am, welcome to the CWNA podcast. It's an honor to have you with us today.
Warm greetings from Athens, from Greece. Thank you very much for the kind invitation. I would like to extend my heartfelt congratulations to CWMA Institute of Skill Development for the amazing work that you are doing in promoting quality education. And of course, special credits go to Prof. Ratsana Rakraborty for these amazing efforts and all the global events that we organize, bringing together experts, educators, leaders from different fields, and how we can collaborate together, how we can promote quality education, quality research for all. This is amazing what we're doing. And of course, I warmly thank you for the kind invitation. I'm sure that we will have a very constructive discussion. And thank you very much for the beautiful introduction. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And I'm so much excited for all the things I'm going to learn today through this podcast. And I'm pretty sure the viewers will enjoy it too. So I'm going to begin with my questions. So my very first question being, ma'am, your journey is such a unique fusion of science, education, and global leadership. What first inspired you to walk this path, and what keep doing this every day?
Yes, it's a wonderful question. First, I want to start by saying how I became an educator, what inspired me to become an educator. First, it was my personal passion for learning. This passion often translates into teaching, as we might want to share this excitement with others. And of course, educators want to make a difference because we're driven by this desire to make a lasting impact, as you mentioned before, on the students' life, whether it's helping them discover their talents, encouraging their confidence, or simply being a source of support. Our influence as a teacher goes beyond the subject matter. And at the same time, we are the mentors and the mentors. the guides, the facilitators. Sometimes this drive to become an educator comes from personal experiences with methods who changed our lives. And my parents, actually, my father was the one who insisted for me to become a teacher. Um, literature teacher, actually, it was his dream. This desire to make an impact, along with the love for helping others, because teaching is something that allows us to assist others in reaching the full potential. This alongside with curiosity and creativity, because if we are creative as educators and we enjoy finding innovative ways to solve problems, teaching then can be a great outlet. And educators are always looking for new ways to engage their students and make learning fun, which requires thinking outside the box. Apart from this, my love for children, I think this would be the first. I always love children, and you know that I was appointed in the public sector, the government, as a teacher first in secondary education. Then I moved to primary education in 2013, and this was a revelation for me, truly revelation, because with the students of primary education, you can do miracles. Then during this period, it's when I started to get involved in STEM education. We talk about a period where nobody knew what was STEM. STEM is the acronym of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. It's a new trend nowadays, new philosophy, new methodology all around the world in education, which is actually what STEM is, the combination actually of science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and if we add arts also, then we have STEAM. So how to teach at the same time all these subjects. So I was very privileged because during this period I worked actually, I remember 1 year in four primary schools here in Greece, public schools. And I got involved in a very innovative program, which was called Play with Protons. Play with Protons was organized by CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research. And it was pioneering because it was a pilot program addressed to primary school teachers who had to teach particle physics to young children, to children of 6 to 11 years old. And what was this program? We talk about, you can understand how difficult this is to teach to students of 7 years old quantum physics. So what was the philosophy behind this? The philosophy is that first the teachers from Greece and UK visited CERN, Geneva. They got a technical training about how we can teach physics, modern physics, particle physics with hands-on, through hands-on learning, through practical activities, using simple everyday materials that we can find in our house. That could be cardboard, could be Play-Doh for Legos, simple things that we can find in our house. And then this way, through play-based methods, kinesthetical activities, musical activities, then we try to transfer this abstract complex knowledge to students, complex ideas, talk about, for example, the theory of relativity of Einstein. And then we return to our countries and we had to transfer this to students, to peers, to other teachers, etc. So what happened during this program? I had many challenges. First of all, I had parents who told me, I don't want my child at this age to learn particle physics. I'm repeating again that nobody knew what is STEM at this period. They didn't know anything about this. The objective of this program was obviously not to teach particle physics. The objective was to make students love science at an early age. And if it's possible, in preschool age. That's why CERN organizes programs, workshops for students of preschool age with great success. How? By teaching science through hands-on, for experiments, physics, chemistry, through workshops, through experimentation, all these issues. So I had these challenges. I had the challenge that these schools were in terrible condition, terrible infrastructure. So many times the children were coming from low economical backgrounds. So I had to pay from my own pocket the materials for the projects. Many challenges, and sometimes they didn't have an available room for technology, so this was not taken for granted also if I wanted to use coding of some technological device. So many challenges, and when at the end of the academic year, uh, parents saw the amazing work the students they have done. Many projects, many, paintings depicting scientists, depicting, for example, Marie Curie, videos. We created whole apps, courses about these theatrical representations. At the end, students wrote the script. Amazing projects, which were awarded. Still, I get awards for this. I have crossed 200 awards for this project. So this was the success. Of course, our work for this project was awarded by CERN also, first by CERN, and then thanks to this project, I was selected among the best teachers in the world, the Global Teacher Prize by Market Foundation. So the Prime Minister there in Dubai invited us and awarded us there. And after this, many awards came. And so what I wanted to say here is that the magical world of STEM and what is makes magic, this new methodology, is first that you combine in one project all the subjects. For example, I'm collaborating with the Greek Astronomy Space Company here in Greece. We organize STEM workshops and lectures, etc., for not only for adults but for children also. So, for example, giving you an example, we ask the students to create a maquette, and there they have to, to construct, to make a construction where there is the rover who will go to Mars. And they have to think about what? Think about science. What are the conditions there for a Mars, for a rover to live? So they have to think about science. They have to search how they will create the market, what kind of materials they will use and why. They have to justify. So they have to search about science. Second, they have to apply engineering at the same time because the construction should be nice, stable, etc. They have to think about the mathematics because in order to code and technology, code and program, you have to program the rover, how the rover will function. So mathematics and the coding, it's there. And the art, of course, because our construction should be nice and aesthetically. So this is the magic. In one project, we combine all this cognitive science at the same time. So then I got the first awards in this. Since then, I tried to promote worldwide this philosophy. Then I started also the virtual sessions in 2020, when COVID pandemic started and the virtual session started. Then also in India, I started to again deliver lecture versus in India. I'm telling you, this period, the Indians didn't know what is STEM, so all institutions were asking me to and explain to them what it is. Of course, now STEM is already part of national educational policy, and I know that you are doing great things with robotics, and you are also have a great progress in developing apps and all these things. But
Yes.
I think this is the talent, the talent that I have, the gift that I have, is that I can transfer abstract knowledge to students through play-based methods. I can teach them everything, even the most difficult subject, in easy ways. This is what I'm saying. Play-based methods. Kinesthetic, that could be through art, that could be through movement, that could be through music. This is my talent. Yes. Thank you.
So, ma'am, like this have talked about the talent to pass the difficult ideas to the students. That is so important. And most of the students that face a challenge is this thing only that we are not able to understand the idea. So when you have this talent to merge it with the creativity, and that's when even I personally I consider myself a student, and it becomes so easy to grasp on all the things.
Yeah.
So, ma'am, I'm going to go to the next question. That you have been recognized on global platforms like the Global Teacher Prize and Fortune magazine, but which achievement or moment has stayed with you felt the most meaningful to you personally?
Exactly. This was what I wanted to add before asking me. This is what I wanted to add. After starting this effort to spread this STEM philosophy here in Greece, after the primary education, I got involved in the Greek Ministry of Education. Until now, I'm the Dutch teacher in the Greek Ministry of Education, where I designed circularies and other STEM workshops which are introduced in the installation of the Greek Ministry. So students in primary education come here and they get experimentation. But after they started my international activities, my international project, this was the most important thing for me. Why? Because I designed projects which were addressed to underprivileged children. We talk about students in Malawi, in Kenya, who didn't have school supplies at all, students who were thirsty, students who didn't have, the elementary basic things to go to school. So I got connected with some teachers in Malawi. I was shocked by this situation, and I designed some project. One project was called Water Life Given a Threat. So this was about water awareness. So how to teach about water awareness to students who are thirsty, and how to design STEM activities with students who don't have not even a whiteboard or a bag and a pencil. So what I did was to motivate them. How to motivate them? I designed activities, STEM activities, but with simply every material that they have at their natural during the that they have around them in the natural environment. For example, they could create, they could use the water for performing water experiments, physics experiments with water. They could create boats with sand. They created amazing mind maps using branches of trees. This was very impressive. Everything that they have from their natural environment. So what we finished, it was a program of 6 weeks. It was fantastic because everybody was very enthusiastic. What was the impact? First of all, the students learned about how to sanitize the filtered water. Till then, students that were drinking the water as a mud, like they didn't know. Nobody had taught them how to sanitize the filtered water. So there were activities where they tried to create the water filtration, some water filtration activities and things like that. And we managed to obtain sanitation filter equipment from USA and sponsorships, and 6 wells well drilled in these areas of Malawi where students didn't have elementary things. No, not even, they had to walk about 90 minutes to find clean water to drink. So the first impactful project, the most important project was this. Another one was implemented in India. It was called Food for Thought, and it had to do with how and try to teach healthy food combinations in case of food shortage to students who live in slums. So this project inspired Indian teachers who visited the slums of teachers. They educated their families. They donated money. It was impactful also. A more recent one, it was implemented in Nigeria. It has to do with gender-based violence. One of my main activities also is how to empower women's, of course, towards science, towards STEM, because women still underrepresented in the field of science. Less than 30% of women now are engaged in these fields. Less than 30% of women are researchers. So, I was inspired by what was happening there in Nigeria. Nigeria has very high rates of gender-based violence. So I designed a project which included again STEM activities, but tried to help teenagers to become less aggressive. So I tried to introduce their activities from neuroscience, because I'm a researcher also in cognitive neuroscience and neuroeducation. The students could see what is happening in the human body when they receive violence. So try to introduce activities that have to do with brain, what is happening, some brain-based strategies, how they can cope with these issues, some how they can develop more peaceful, mindset. I integrated peace-building activities because I'm also global peace ambassador. How they learn how they can resolve the conflicts peacefully. So there integrated activities like role-playing, simulations, many things that it was very, very successful. It was presented also on media there in Nigeria. It was implemented in public schools in Nigeria. And another one project was here in Greece. I wrote a project environmental program, which is called SOS, We Are Changing the Earth's Climate, which is addressed to primary school students. And why primary school students? Because at this age, students should learn, at an early age, students should learn how to deal systematically with scientific concepts, with all these problems, with climate change. They should learn how to give solutions, innovative solutions to global complex problems. So we invite students, for example, to use STEM technology. We ask them, if you had a robot, I'm doing climate workshops in schools here in Greece. So I had primary school students, and I asked them, for example, what would you do if you had to face in Greece? We have wars, we have arsons. What would you do about this? What will you do about pollutions? Believe me that in 5 minutes, they gave me amazing solutions. 5 minutes, I had 30 answers from students of 6 7 years old. Why I'm saying this? Because students at this age have more innovative mindset. They're more inventive like we are as adults. So some students told me that I would create a robot that would predict wildfires, another one that would clean up the sea, the oceans, things that I could never think and imagine. Again, this is the magic of STEM, of course, which helps students to think about problem solving. It's about always problem solving, solve a problem, give innovative solutions, use the technology, and get prepared for the future. So one thing that we are doing with STEM is solve problems and prepare students for the next generation. So what is most important for me is the project, the first project I mentioned, all the projects that are addressed to the privileged students, to students who are coming from low-economical background. Anything that has to do with volunteerism, because I'm conducting all the activities that I'm posting on social media, all the thing is for free. So I'm a volunteer practically my whole life. We can help students with special education needs. I'm also a volunteer. I'm teaching STEM as a volunteer in schools and special needs with students in refugees. We have a great number of refugees here in Greece who need training. We need to get familiarized with STEM and modern teaching methodologies. So what makes the great impact is this: when we help children who are struggling, who are suffering from all the disadvantages, we could say, of negative peace. That could be lack of water, that could be lack of food, it could be lack of opportunities, equal opportunities with other children. And being a volunteer, I'm going to convey this message. The studies say that if young people start by being volunteer, by being engaged in service learning, this would help them to enter smoothly in the labor market. All the recent studies say about this. Why? Because they have already developed teamwork, they have developed problem solving, critical thinking, creativity needed to enter the labor market. And of course, how to collaborate with others, etc. So being a volunteer is very fulfilling, obviously, for me. Everybody asking me why I'm not getting paid for all the activities. I have crossed so far 3,000 lectures. From 2020 till now, I have crossed 3,000 lectures, all for free, everything for free. I'm conducting training sessions. Recently, I conducted training sessions in Nigeria about suicide. It was an innovative program of Australia. We collaborate together. We conducted training to students who were suffering, who were struggling from suicidal tendencies. So conducted this also about mental health, also conducted training sessions again in Nigeria about mental health disorders, how to help them with depression, with anxiety, all these things. Everything that you do which has impact, this is fulfilling. It's important for me. And for me, leadership is exactly this. when you live when you make an impact, even to at least one person, even you try to change the life of one person, of one student, this is leadership for me. If you leave an impact. Yes.
Wow, I'm so much enjoying all learning all these things. I'm not a STEM student, of course. Like STEM is all about science, and I'm already a commerce student. But learning about all these things never I'm always curious about new things. So this is something I'm getting to know from you, a new way of the projects and everything. Okay, so my next question for you will be that you are also a major advocate for the UN Sustainable Development Goals. So, how can young writers and educators become active agents of sustainability and peace through their work?
Yes. The project that I mentioned before were related to UN Sustainable Development Goals. The water, that I mentioned before, the water project, the food project, the gender-based values have to do also with this, or rather my programs about gender and equality, how to help women in STEM. Again, is all are related with UN Sustainable Development Goals. So, how can people get involved in sustainable development goals? I think this should start already in preschool age, then primary school, then
Mm,
secondary education, and of course, I think people if they are in a period of university, uh, higher education, young people, at this
mm,
age, they can understand clearly what the sustainable goals are. And they can start, I think the first step is community-based learning. I mean, is to start from local projects. Maybe this could be a tree plantation. I think in India also it's very popular, plantation drive, tree plantation. Or to be a community project about how to clean up oceans. Or to run recycling companies in schools or neighborhoods, or start by a Sustainable Development Goal Club. There are some universities in India which have invited me. They have opened up Sustainable Development Goal Clubs, societies, and they asked me to inaugurate the clubs and give them some ideas how to collaborate with Greece, etc. So this is something that is already happening also in India. So societies, clubs,
mm,
where we can find like-minded students, like-minded people. Another issue what is happening is the model UN. How they can participate in model UN to simulate how the assembly UN functions and what young people, how they can participate in things like that. And
mm,
work with local international organizations which focus on poverty, on climate, on education. Try to search for, youth opportunities. There are many youth delegate programs. There are many, for example, in Europe, we have many funded programs for the European Union. Also for you, for India, for example, in India, you may have youth programs that are funded. You
mm,
can use also social media if you want to run a campaign. Social media are a very powerful tool for young people. Or use apps. There are apps like SDGs in action that they can actually track progress and take action. And of
mm,
course, they can think about choosing subject or career or jobs that can contribute to sustainable development goals. That could be public health. We have seen what happened with the COVID pandemic, with education, renewable energy, social entrepreneurship, corporate responsibility, or climate entrepreneurship, which is also trendy for young people. So,
mm,
young people should be engaged in political issues also, because unfortunately, you know what is happening. I think it's not only Greece. In Greece, young people are very,
mm,
disappointed by the corruption of politicians. They don't participate in elections. They're discouraged. But I think the same happens in other countries also. So how can we attract the students to regain their attention for political issues, which are very important, for diplomacy? for to motivate them to open up and share the voices, to share their what are the problems they face, for example, unemployment. Um, the fact, for example, we have many in India also many. There are many students who have university students, many degrees, but they can't find a worker, can't find a job which is highly paid. This is a problem in India, but worldwide. There are many problems that young people are facing, but young people avoid being involved in politics because of corruption, because they're disappointed that things are not getting better. Be a part of international organizations like UN, like UNESCO. Start by being a volunteer, I mentioned before, very important. Start by being volunteer in order to think to understand, first of all, sustainable development goals and to learn step by step how you can contribute to all these, to organization of these initiatives. Join local organizations, join clubs, SDG clubs. Try to think how you can contribute individually or collectively, how you can join more people. So things like that. Mhm.
Yeah. As a person from the new generation myself, I believe that even every one of us start taking a few steps, I guess we can go towards a very better world. We can try to achieve this developmental goals that we have been learning about from years. So definitely, ma'am, there was such a good ideas from your side. My next question is, you wear so many hats: educator, author, ambassador, researcher. How do you manage balance and avoid burnout while staying so deeply involved in so many global initiatives? Because I believe it is such a great responsibility on you that you are taking, and we are actually thankful to educators like you that help us in guiding towards the better future. So, how do you manage it, ma'am?
Yeah. Honestly tell you that it's not easy for me because I have a time management problem. I mean, there are some times that I can't manage even to sleep. I have only 2, 3 hours to sleep for months. So I can't say that I'm a role model about this. It's not good for young people. It's the strength that I have. But if you can share some practical strategies to balance on this role, is first that what I have to learn is prioritize what is urgent. Prioritize what is urgent and
Hmm.
important. This is, say, you say, do it now. Important but not urgent, you schedule it. Urgent but not important, delegate if it's possible. Not urgent or important to try to minimize or avoid. The first is this, think about the prioritizations. The second has to
Yeah.
do how to use a week planner or a digital calendar. So you block out time for classes, for study, for meetings. Use tools like Google Calendar or Trello. There are some apps, digital tools that we can use. Very important, set goals. You know the acronym SMART goals. SMART goals mean specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound goal. You always think about how you assume tasks which are feasible, that
Hmm.
can be accomplished in a specific timeline. Um,
Yeah.
and try to schedule some rest and recharge. I know this is not easy, and add some short breaks during the day. Try to get the 7 or 9 hours of sleep consistently. I know I don't do it, but this is what I suggest that we should do. We should do it. Get some hours of sleep, and try to share responsibilities. Don't be afraid to ask for help if you need some help from others.
Hmm.
And of course, avoid distractions. I mean, distractions from social media. I think social media don't help in this. You know don't help us focus on our work. So balancing roles isn't about, we could say, being busy. It's about being I could say intentional, with plan, with self-awareness, we can grow as a leader and still care for ourselves. So we need to think about ourselves at the same time, not only work, and balance the quality time that we need for ourselves with work, personal and social life. I know it's not easy, but this is what we should do.
Okay. So, to all the young people watching this, we have a lot of things to learn from ma'am. A lot of it, actually. So, this is going to be very fruitful for all of us. So, I'm moving to the last part of our podcast. Finally, what message would you like to share with young creators and educators around the world who are listening to this episode right now?
To all our young change makers, I want to say that the world needs your energy, your fresh ideas, your innovative perspectives, your courage now more than ever. The Sustainable Development Goals are not just global targets, they are a promise to
Mm.
build a better, fair, and more sustainable future for everyone. You don't have to wait to be older or richer or more powerful to make a difference. Start now, start small, start local, whether it's protecting the environment, whether it's standing up for equality or supporting education or speaking out for peace. Your actions matter. So be the voice that challenges injustice, be the heart that can clean your community, be the heart that cares for others. And I think that together we are the generation that can turn hope into action and dreams into reality. And the Sustainable Development Goals are not just goals for the world, they are goals for you. So your time is now. Let's shape the future together with hope. This is my message. Of course, don't get discouraged from any obstacle or setbacks. Don't give up. Have faith in yourself, believe in yourself and your abilities and your passion. Use your passion, to dedication, your hard work. Hard work is the key also. Everything that I have accomplished in my life was um, the product of my key, of my perseverance and hard work and dedication. And if you are passionate about what you're doing, if you love what you're doing, and if you have set noble goals, then you will succeed.
Okay, Rania ma'am, thank you so much for from the bottom of our hearts for sharing your story, your vision, and your boundless passion for us today. You have not only inspired our listeners, but reminded us that education, creativity, and collaboration have no boundaries. To all the amazing listeners, thank you for joining us for another empowering conversation. If today's episode sparked something in you, please consider sharing it with your community and forward it to others with powerful voices that move forward. Until next time, this is Riddhi from Creative Writing Modern Age Podcast, reminding you to write boldly, dream globally, and mentor generously. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Audrey, for putting together my experiences and thoughts. Thank you very much.